Hey, what's up, Spooky fam? Today we are going over my top 10 favorite horror movies of 2020, and I kind of have a hard time with these videos, like year-long definitive lists of what I loved. Last year I kind of shied away from it a little bit, but this year I've looked through my letterboxd, I've sat down and compiled a list of movies that I think sat with me the most, that I enjoyed the most, horror movies that I enjoyed the most of 2020. I would like to try and narrow down a top 10 just movies in general that I enjoyed from 2020 list, and I also will be uploading quite a long video. You guys probably, if you are a regular here, probably noticed that I did not upload my what I watched in November video, and that is because I was way too preoccupied with my movie reviews. So I'm going to do a what I watched in December, and then on the end of it I'm going to tag on my like 25-minute what I watched in November video. So look forward to that. But if you enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, check out my main channel for reaction videos, and let's get into my top 10 horror movies of 2020. Starting off with number 10 is one that I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate for. I know this movie did not, it had a mixed audience, and it is, okay, Ginger's already hating on it. It is The Babysitter Killer Queen. Yikes. I didn't expect to like this one as much as I did. I ended up seeing this 3 times, pretty close, like almost like within weeks of one another, but I enjoyed this movie so much. I thought it was like, it was my kind of humor, and while I did not like a lot of the characters, and I still, like, I don't like a lot of the characters from the first one, I do like the dads, the kids' dads that you see in the movie. I don't know the names off the top of my head, but you know, the kids' dads, they're so funny. And in part 2, I know her name is Melanie, I'm pretty sure off the top of my head. Her dad was my favorite part of that entire movie, and I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. But yeah, it just, The Babysitter and The Babysitter Killer Queen remind me of movies that I would have really enjoyed back in high school, and it kind of takes me back to like a nostalgia feeling. So that's why I think I enjoy those so much. Moving on to number 9, we have Becky. While I don't necessarily see it as too much of a horror movie, it is definitely more of like an action thriller movie. It was still really good. Lulu Wilson, I love her in everything that she has been in Ouija, Origin of Evil, she was in Annabelle Creation, I'm pretty sure. Off the top, I'm just trying to do this off the top, guys. But yeah, she played Doris. I remember her being a Doris, and I was like, I don't want to fuck with Doris. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that shit was Ouija, and that, you know what? I actually really enjoyed Ouija, Origin of Evil, unpopular opinion. But yeah, well, I guess I can see why Becky would be considered a horror movie with the eyeball snippy. But, you know, it was just a really good movie to come out, you know. It was just enjoyable. It was packed full of action. It was packed full of like heart, really gross, like gruesome scenes. It was a great movie. Definitely deserves to be on my top 10. And Kevin James, what a departure. Weird. Number 8 is a movie that I really enjoyed. This one definitely stuck with me. It is Host, and this one was a Shudder original. This one is shot in quarantine, as we are. If you are watching this in the future, that is going to be so weird. But it was shot as kind of a seance over a Skype call, a Zoom call. Who uses Skype anymore? But it just, things go awry really quickly, and it was just a really enjoyable, really short film. And I appreciated how short it was. Number 7, I'm not going to talk too much about this one. I enjoyed The Hunt so much, and I really Not for any other reason. It was just a really fun watch, a really immersive fun watch. Betty Gilpin was amazing in that movie, and by the end, like once the movie was finished, I kind of sat there for a minute and I was like, you know what, that was a really good movie, and I had a lot of fun with it. So The Hunt is number 7 on my list. Okay, number 6 is one that is definitely a little campy. It is one that I enjoyed a lot. It is Bad Hair. I don't see enough people talking about Bad Hair. I enjoyed it so much. I enjoy a little bit of camp every once in a while, and this one just made me happy, and it made me feel gross, and it made me, you know, it made me happy. It was an enjoyable movie. Laverne Cox has been in such amazing things recently. What was she just in that we watched? Oh yeah, she was in Promising Young Woman. She was really great in that. But there is one scene in Bad Hair where the main character is getting her weave put in, and it is just, it's very, as someone, like I said before when I talked about this movie, as someone who did hair and who has gotten extensions put in like that, I cringed. All right, we are now in the top 5. These ones, these 5 really stuck with me for one reason or another, so I'm really excited to talk about them. You guys probably already know my number 1. I've already spoiled it. But starting off with number 5, we have another Shudder original, and it was Scare Me. This movie was so refreshing. It was just such a small cast with such a grand story and so much amazing storytelling, and it was just so fun and spooky and wild and weird and everything that I love. I really enjoyed Scare Me. Number 4 is one that Alex and I, hello Alex, we just rewatched recently, and that was Extraordinary. I actually revised this list to put that on this list because I didn't realize that the actual release was this year. Extraordinary is such a sweet ghost story slash love story slash family story slash satanic Will Forte going off the rails. It is such a sweet and heartfelt movie. I love it so much. There's a couple of scenes that are just so outrageous and so funny. Oh goodness, I just love that movie, and revisiting it last week was just, it was so fun to remember how much I enjoyed that movie. So if you haven't seen Extraordinary, I highly recommend that one, especially if you are in for a good horror comedy, also a good like ghosty love story. Very fun, kind of gross love story. Okay, number 3 is one that we also, hello Alex again, Alex and I just watched not too long ago. These next 2 actually are 2 that we just recently watched, but they were so right up my alley that they had to be so high up on this list. So number 3 is Hunter x Hunter, and I was a little bit confused by this movie, but sitting with it and thinking about it and kind of revisiting little pieces of it because I just couldn't stop thinking about some scenes. That movie was just so well done. I mean, definitely there are like character flaws, and like, you know, there's Devon Sawa definitely aged. But yeah, there's definitely character flaws. There are like decisions that are made by characters that are like unsavory and stuff, but like as an overall movie and like how it makes you feel, like by the end, Alex can vouch for me because I was sending him videos just going off by the end because I just could not believe what I was seeing, and I don't want to in the slightest bit ruin it for you, and I don't even want to talk about the story other than the fact that it is about a family of like fur trappers, and there is a wolf. A wolf. That's all I'm gonna say. It was just right up my alley. And moving on to number 2, which is another one that was right up my alley, another Shudder original that wasn't on Shudder in Canada for some reason. Anything for Jackson. I honestly try to pick movies that made me feel like stuck with me in one way or another, like in one way or another, like I tried to really pick movies that stuck with me in one way or another, like I said, and this one definitely did. It, you know, like when we saw like Crazy Grandparents in The Visit, like it was okay, it was good, it was well delivered, but like this is Crazy Grandparents. Like this, I have a set of grandparents that I am not allowed to come into contact with for religious reasons, on the opposite end of the spectrum. But that is what that movie, like, that instilled fear into me, because I am like afraid of my grandparents, and that is what I thought of the whole time. You know, maybe one day I'll get into it, maybe on my Patreon where things are a little more private, but that's the reason why, like, I couldn't stop thinking about, like, if my situation was a little different, not if I died or anything, but like, I just feel like at a young age my grandparents kind of would have done anything to get me into more of a spiritual hand, and that's terrifying for me. And that really made that movie kind of more terrifying for me. I'm going off a little bit, but Anything for Jackson is essentially about a set of grandparents who lose their grandson, and with rituals, satanic rituals, try and revive his body. I don't know, something about Satanism and old people that really scares me. Okay. Moving on to number one. This one does not need very much introduction. I don't really need to talk too much about this. Alex and I are sluts for David Cronenberg, so when Possessor came out, we were really excited about this one, and I was very fortunate enough to see it in theaters before things got crazy again. So yeah, Possessor is 100% number one. I know it's more of like a sci-fi, but there's definitely horror elements, and it makes you feel things, and seeing it on the big screen, I felt things, you know, like it was just a really visceral movie to watch. And Andrea Riseborough, like, she really became one of my favorite actresses because of this movie, and I'm like obsessed with like going back and watching everything that she's in, because she is just such an amazing actress. And Christopher Abbott, holy shit, don't even get me started. I have said so many times, his character on Girls, Charlie, I cannot revisit it. I cannot even talk about it. But yeah, Possessor really made a big impact on me. You guys already saw that I bought it on Blu-ray because it really did make a big impact on me, and I just appreciate the work that the Cronenbergs do, because it's just hits me in the gross spot, you know? So that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know if you've watched any of these, if you plan on watching any of these. I highly recommend you guys watch Hunter x Hunter if you want a gross good time. I have lots and lots and lots to film for you. I have lots filmed for you. I am so excited about the new year on this channel. I hope you are as excited as I am. Anyways, I will see you soon. Sayonara, Spooky fam.